Quick shout out from our sponsor, Share ID. Are you trying to boost conversions to your Shopify store? Need to drive more customer loyalty? Get results fast by offering exclusive discounts to consumer communities with Share ID. Share ID helps verify students, teachers, military, first responders, and so much more of these groups. With Share ID, you'll get a verified match in seconds. You can spit out an exclusive discount for customers on the spot. Try speaking directly to a new customer segment with this verifiable identity without adding friction to the shopping experience. Continue to drive incremental revenue in the next 90 days post-purchase with more tailored messaging for your email and SMS campaigns. I personally tested Share ID to see just how easy it was to get set up, and I was pretty much ready to go in under 15 minutes. The onboarding was simple enough for me to follow as a non-technical person. Go to shareid.com/Shopify and start your free trial today. Once again, that's shareid.com/Shopify and start your free trial today. It's great stuff. We both tried it. We both like it.
Honest to God, I've been drinking nothing else for 3 months. I shit you not. I think in like February, I tweeted saying I was having issues with caffeine and I was just like a jittery mess. And Greg replied to me like, well, just try this. If it's no good, I'll refund you. Honestly, I haven't stopped since. It's fantastic. I love it.
Go to nowave.co and use pod 10 for 10% off your order. That is NOOWave.co and use code pod 10 for 10% off your entire order. Welcome back to the Brand Builders Podcast. If your first time joining us, then hello, howdy. We have Tom Brown and myself, Matt Lady, as your co-hosts. We were freelance consultants, brand owners, etc., but now we're both heads of growth. So today's episode is all about growing and brainstorming in public and about how we're each going to grow, how we think about growth, strategies, tactics, ideas, problem solving, all this good stuff. So today we're just going to jump into that. Tom, you're head of growth at Hutch. Apparently it's been about a week, if not two. So how's it been going so far? What are you up to?
It's been diving into the deep end. Yeah, it's been, what are we at? I started last Tuesday, so we have 8 days in. 8 days in. I don't know where the hell that's gone. No, honestly, it's been a lot of fun. Sate, CEO, came down to Basingstoke, where I live, last week. We spent like 4 days together, really just diving into the back end of the business and just tearing everything apart. It was a deep dive for me into every client they've got, like what's worked, what's gone wrong, kind of going over like past sales pitches, just every little intricate part of the business they kind of threw me into. I think we kind of figured we were going to do the same this week, and it's been some of that, but yeah, it's definitely just been like boots on the ground and just go.
So for those that haven't listened or haven't caught the other episodes or are brand new, Hutch is a 3PL that is coming out of sort of stealth mode slowly. Hopefully we're talking about it. They hired you to like market it and talk about it more. So they're based in the UK and they've been growing the last couple of years and kind of silently just getting clients and servicing work. And Tom had worked with them this past year basically for one of his brands. And so then he joined as head of growth 8 days ago as of this recording. So he's growing a 3PL and he's tasked with that, which is a little different than growing a D2C brand. But Tom, like after you said that deep dive, you went in deep, you kind of tore everything apart. Like what is standing out to you so far? What's sticking out? Is something like what's red flags, yellow flags, green flags? Is it like, oh, I can't wait to do more of this. Oh, crap, we got to fix this. Like, what do we got so far?
I mean, bottom line, like to be honest, it's the same sort of stuff I do with like direct consumer brands. It's just get in and like figure out who's the perfect customer, who's the persona, who is the individual we're going after, which is, I mean, it's exactly what I did with the brand. It's exactly what I've done with like clients consulting. So it was going into that and figuring out like, who do we want to work with and who is a bad fit? Like bottom line, like let's start there. And that's even meant going in and figuring out perhaps like who are the clients that we currently have on file that perhaps are not shipping a lot of orders or they're a bad fit for this 3PL. And just kind of Hutch in a nutshell, it's a premium 3PL. It's kind of the way they position themselves, and it's all about like everything that happens after the buy button. So it's not just the shipping and the packing. It's all the small details that go into actually making a customer unboxing experience. Everything from like the handwritten notes, the inserts, the tissue paper wrap, the ribbon on the top, the way the box is sealed, the way the tracking is all done. And then it's like everything that comes with aftercare. So it's the returns, it's the exchanges. They basically built like their own version of Shopify flows. You can write different rules. So if it's someone's like first order, add X, Y, and Z. If it's their fifth order, it's all these kind of mechanics on the back end that you don't really think about that go into like customer retention. It's something I've done like manually for years. And I'll be honest, it's kind of why I went for Hutch, go back 12 months ago when I took the brand over to them versus everybody else. They weren't the cheapest in the market, but they were genuinely like executing on it. And it was the most attractive thing for me to just go in and execute more on that. So it's kind of, it's been getting in and figuring out like a lot of the brands that are the perfect fit, and then work out like, is there referrals there, the introductions that we can make, is that like the lowest hanging fruit to go after? And then it's figure out like, okay, what's the content play? What's the outbound play? What's the inbound play? And go from there.
Yeah, no, I'm really glad that you kind of corrected me a little bit by saying it is kind of how I would start at a D2C brand of like, who's my customer and like, who's a good fit, who's a bad fit. So I'm glad you kind of just like politely just like, said, hey,
no,
I'm kind of doing the same thing. So no, it's good. It's good. So that's really neat, man. And I didn't know about, it was like more of a premier thing. And I think it's really smart and really open water of like, or open land to grab of, okay, we don't just get your packages out within 2 hours of them ordering, like, or we never miss an order, or like there's no mistakes or whatever, like these like selling points are for 3PLs. Cause there's a ton of them, but like, they're like, that's the next step. That's the next phase of more online business, right? Okay. How do you stand out? It's not just, they send funny emails, they send funny texts, like, or they take care of us, or the first purchase, they had one little handwritten note. Like, what's next? What's after that? How do you do it at scale too? Right.
Yeah, it is.
I think that was all really fascinating, and of like how you're thinking about that and how Hutch is tackling that.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, you kind of touched on it a second ago. Like, we struggled the last week, and even actually, so I've been at the Shopify Unite after parties the last couple of weeks, and folks are asking, like, what am I up to now? Folks I haven't seen in years. And it's amazing how hard it is, even at this point. And we're still trying to figure it out, is like, what is the elevator pitch? Because the second you say 3PL to someone, like, their eyes just glaze over. They're gone. We're just, again, trying to figure out, like, what's that story? And what is that brand positioning that resonates and makes sense, that isn't unbelievably complicated? So that's been a lot of it too.
Yeah. Do you got anything you want to run by me? Do you got a sentence or two, or?
I'll be honest, it's still a work in progress. There's a new site and stuff coming out, which is why I've kind of not really shouted too much about like taking on the position. Like, we wanted to get new brand coming, new site launching hopefully this week, if not early next week. So probably by the time this drops, it should be live, hopefully. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, there's a lot of things like in the pipeline over the next week that should come through. Okay,
cool. Well, I won't push too hard on that, and we'll see when it comes out, and we can talk about it some more for sure. So I liked how you're like, cool, these are the clients and customers that are working for us. Like, this is what we define as a good client. And that, like you said, that goes back to freelancing and consulting, and like cool, I have my 80% of the clients that work great most of the time. And again, not just that they pay you the most or that they're doing the best for them. Like, it's a human interaction, a human relationship. It's you like working with them. You want to go above and beyond, and you are thinking about their business outside of that weekly like call, and like, that's what you're talking about. So are there any characteristics or traits, commonalities that you've seen so far? Is it like that order volume, like you mentioned, like there's not shipping enough for it to make sense, or what have you been finding so far?
It's a combination of factors. Like, yeah, there's definitely some that, saw like, they came on board during COVID or very soon after COVID, had a phenomenal like 2020, 2021, and have struggled a lot since iOS 14. Genuinely, like there's a lot of those brands that grew amazingly fast, kind of reinvested like everything, thinking that was the growth trajectory they're on. Now it's pulling back, and it's sort of like trying to figure out. And to be honest, we've kind of pitched the idea internally of like, what can we actually do proactively to help some of these merchants continue to grow or like restabilize? So I think we're going to put on like a few events. I'm probably going to spend quite a bit of time just in terms of like hours, just getting on the phone with these merchants to figure out like, is there more that we can do kind of like in almost like a consulting fashion? Just like how can we best serve you? Not just as a 3PL, not just as like a post-purchase solution, or platform, but like what else is there that we can actually do? And whether that be just like, getting 40, 50 merchants together in a room and really just shooting ideas around and figuring like what's working for people and where things going wrong. Because there's a lot of brands in there that have come out the other side and are stronger than ever because of what's happened over the last 12 months.
I see. So maybe less of Tom telling these brands to do, but maybe also maybe a bit more of, hey, we're all using Hutch and we're all kind of in this space. We're all kind of in this different sort of range and community. It sounds like a lot of what like Repeat and Triple Whale, like these SaaS tools are like creating these private communities. I think Wonderment has one too now. So I think it's very good and smart and makes sense to like look for that extra value add and to connect the dots that are already there. And you're you try to like consult one-on-one with 50 brands. You're like, no, how do I facilitate them to talk to each other and help each other out? Like, you're not trying to be, hey, I know exactly what you should do. You're just like, hey, turn and talk to each other and create that space for them to do that.
Yeah. And I think, particularly with those brands, because like, Hutch has positioned themselves as, slightly like a premium solution in the marketplace. Like they're pushing hard on retention and the aftercare and say everything that happens after the buy button, which kind of means like the brands they've attracted so far really care and believe in that mission too. They're very customer centric. They're very empathetic brands. Like they really do care about their customers, which comes through. And that's kind of the cool part. They're very similar minded merchants.
Yeah. So I think that's neat, man. I think that's really good. And I think you should keep poking and going that way and digging and seeing what you can find there. And I don't know if all of the communities do this or if any of them do, but I know some software tools do. They just have or agencies have like preferred technology partners, right? Like technology partners have preferred agency partners. Like that is one way you could be like, hey, I trust these 4 people for ads, these 4 people for email. And then you can like help facilitate those too. That's another way to maybe help them is that, like they're still with the same agency or media buyer or person and they didn't like evolve yet, or they didn't try anything out. So they're like, oh, well, there's this low hanging fruit that we can help you out with, and we have the right people. And so it's not Tom Brown like doing it all, but you're like, who.
Yeah, kind of the facilitator. Yeah, the guy in the middle.
Yeah, so that could be interesting too. So, okay, so you're talking to the clients, you're diving deep. You might do this little community events or like kind of collaboration and try to get them talking to each other. What is something that you've learned in the first 8 days about being back at like being in a quote employee or like this more structured role so far?
That's a good question. It's probably a little too early to tell. I mean, I'll be honest, sure. I'm phenomenally fortunate that Ben and Say on the team are genuinely wonderful people who are just incredibly empathetic. So even stuff that's come up in the last few days, because at the moment I still own the brand that I still run, and as much as like it's fairly hands off, like there's stuff that's cropping up all the time, and they have been incredibly understanding with that, and even just with like personal matters and like just be honest, just getting me back into some sort of cadence and rhythm. And then, throw in, Shopify Unite conferences. Just the after parties I've been going to the last couple of nights. I was saying to you before we jumped on, it took me like 2.5 hours to get out of London last night, just with everything that's going on with the death of the Queen. But like, even there today, like there's understanding. We got a call at 9 a.m. and it's like, what time did you get out? Like, okay, take a break for a half hour, like go do something else, come back, get your shit together, and like we'll regroup. And it's, it kind of comes through the same way. I started to talk to a lot of the warehouse team, and again, what's kind of coming through on that is like, if one of them is like having a bad day, one of them's sick, like there is a very like collaborative and just say empathetic effort to pick everyone else up of like, absolutely go home, like get better. Someone else will pick up the slack. Like we'll just dive in and just help each other. I think that's kind of the bit I've been missing. It's just like that collaborative, empathetic, mission-driven kind of company.
It's a team. You're joining a team, and you're going to build a team, and you get to know the team members and the ups and downs and camaraderie of that. Versus
exactly.
Oh, I'm building a brand. Like this is cool. We work together, but it's not like not as much like closeness there. So I feel you on that. So
I gotta say, man, on the flip side, can we talk too much about what you're up to?
I'm so glad you kind of prompted me. I was about to so now to talk about myself. So last episode I brought up there's a few opportunities and a few things going on with looking for a full-time role, and I have landed StumpTown Mattress. They're a long-time retail, somewhat recent D2C brand from Portland, Oregon, so Northwest in the U.S., and I'm now a mattress salesman.
Did you ever see that coming?
Never in a trillion years could I have bet any amount of money on that or have predicted that. And it's less. I didn't care so much about the mattress. I cared about the people who, like, the customers that cared about the product. So it's like, cool. They have raving reviews. They've been in retail for 10 years already. And there's so much low hanging fruit. The opportunity is ripe for the picking. I'm tall. I'm 6'4", right? Like, I'm just going to be able to reach up and grab the fruit. Like, it's low hanging, easy peasy, like basic Facebook and Google ads. Like, they're on WooCommerce still. Like, it's so slow and so like, they've never sent an email, like,
ever.
Like,
good.
So there's so much like green space and land, like, and this brand was bought by an equity group last year. So the original founders are getting transitioned out very soon, this fall. And so I work with one of the guys, Peter. He's awesome, from the equity group, but he's like not technically like above me as a boss. It's like I'm D2C head of growth, and then whoever I want to hire and work with. Yeah. And then I kind of set the tempo and what I want to do. So finally. I start Friday. I started a few days, but I've kind of been digging in. And I've been digging in early a little bit and kind of getting some things started.
Very cool. So, all right. So on that, I mean, there's obviously a lot of levers that can be pulled, whether that's like, replatforming to Shopify immediately. Is it like getting Google ads? Is it getting Facebook ads? Like what's kind of your process? What are you thinking about right now? What's a priority, I guess?
The few big things was kind of what you kind of mentioned. So first thing is thinking about, okay, replatforming from WooCommerce to Shopify is going to take a while, but I need to start that and talk to people, see what kind of cost that's going to take, how long they say it's going to take, and just making sure I talk to a few different people. I don't just go with the first option. And all right, cool, that sounds good. Like, let's roll. And it's like, it's a big investment, both in money and time. So we're thinking like 3.5 to 4.5 months.
Okay, I was going to ask, is this something you're going to try and do before like Black Friday, or is this like a 2023? So,
it's something that if we were just like starting over from scratch and making this site on Shopify and not having to migrate any data over, I think we could go much faster. Mm-hmm. But with wanting to keep all that SEO juice with the redirects and like pulling over sales data and customers and reviews and all that, it seems way more complicated and tricky. So we're not going to rush it and try to, throw a brand new site up, brand new platform for Black Friday. They've never run up. I think that's my gut, and that's what other people are kind of thinking too. So, and I'm glad you confirmed that. And they've never done a Black Friday, so they've never done an offer or discount either. So that's a lever to pull. Okay. So that's like the first priority I was thinking of, because that's going to take a while, right? Like 4 months, right? Like I could respond to their emails right away. I can like get them. I could remove all the roadblocks. I can like project manage the crap out of it. It's not going to go any faster. It's going to take the time it takes. Yeah. So that's the big one chunk of priorities.
I mean, it's how do I kind of phrase it? I mean, is there like this? I guess there's not such a sense of urgency. Like the business is, I think, profitable, fairly well established. Like it's not like it's a desperate need to replatform. No. Okay.
No, it's not as desperate of a need. It's profitable and growing even with this. So we're thinking of it as a eager and excited, like, wait till we get to Shopify and we actually get emails with Klaviyo and bundles and upsells and downsells and a post, like, actually doing like more D2C like things. That's more excited and eager versus, oh no, we need to turn this around ASAP. Like that's what's so exciting, and I'm like, I want it to get done immediately because I know how much room we can go still.
Yeah. But equally, it's kind of nice that it actually gives you, like you say, 4 months to actually plot, plan, build this out without a gun to your head. There's pressure, but it's not going to kill you, hopefully.
No. It's good. It's good. So that's I got a little bit of breathing room, and that's kind of like, okay, cool. Like I've been with them for a few months. I can show them, like, build more trust and more credibility, get more ducks in a row. I get to know the brand and the products, and I get to run the ads. So that's the next thing is Facebook and Google ads, like I said, were like pretty bare bones. They've been through a few agencies and people, and I sat in on a call yesterday, and I was like, hey, I'm new here. Like, I'm just going to listen in, like kind of hang out.
This is with an agency, or is this just internal?
With Peter and the agency.
Okay.
And so, like, we were there, like, they knew, they introduced myself. Like, I'm new. It's cool. And man, I was not impressed. I was, like, surprised that we pay them this much money to give us so little insight and updates and data, and just pretty mediocre, honestly. And so, like, I talked to Peter after. I was like, hey, so he's like, what you think? I'm like, yeah, I think we can do better. And like, I'm like, what do you think? No. He agreed. He kind of agreed with me. Okay. But like, I was like, yeah, I think I could do better. Like, the Facebook account is just like, there hasn't been edits in a long time, and it's super basic, and like really not much creative testing, or like, and it's really local targeting to like the city and the state, and not across the country yet. So like, there's so much room to go. Like we're growing profitably. The healthy, like, it's mattresses, so like we have a high AOV, but not as high gross margin as you would expect. And when it's local, shipping's not too bad, in the same city or the same state. But that's something we have to factor in if we start shipping to Florida, shipping to New York, shipping across the country, right? So it'll jump up. So Facebook, a lot of room to go. Google was doing great, stopped doing well, but they are reallocating spend from Google to Facebook. But I'm not the best Google person, but like there's so much uncovered stuff there. And so I've gotten a few. I love Twitter because I can just call in the Avengers. And like, hey guys, I within 24 hours, I think I posted yesterday. Hey, Google Ads, who should I talk to? Fucking tons of people, just like
yeah. It was.
So people like me. So I'm like, okay, I know you, I don't know you.
Who's credible?
You went to my spam messages, like you don't follow me, like okay. So I kind of like try to sort through it all because there's a lot. And a few people just jumped in, like asked the right questions, and like, okay, so what's this? Give me access. Oh, why are they spending this much on branded terms and like not getting a good return? And so just from that, like that's what I was thinking, but having other like Google Avenger experts like confirm it.
Kind of validate it.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, cool. There's plenty of room to go here. And so if I take over Facebook and make it that much better, which is, again, it's going well. Like, I don't know how, but it's going well. So if this is going well, and I can make it better, and if Google's going okay, but a lot left to be desired, plus in 4 months, we get Shopify, and we can actually, instead of them adding like single products of like, oh, mattress, a bed frame, a pillow, the protector, like one at a time. And just like, oh, I want this, I want that. Like a lot of people do that.
That is staggering.
Right? But like we will be able to do that much more easily, like in cart or like do a bundle for them. And that can only help, right? And so we'll actually have Klaviyo collecting emails and doing campaigns, doing the automated flows. We might think about discounts, but man, there's just so much like
there's a ton of
much still there. Like, and that's not even getting too crazy. That's like I mentioned a website, Facebook Google and email, like the fundamentals, right? I didn't say anything crazy about my like owned media strategy yet, where I want to make a newsletter or like hire someone to go out in Portland and like have a like TikTok guy on street talking about sleep. Like I didn't even go crazy, like fun, cool stuff yet. That was like top of funnel building, whatever. I'm talking the basic fundamentals, which Tom, I'm finding out, not so basic, not so fundamental.
I genuinely, I think it's something we take for granted. I would say that is from, again, I can't mention brands, but from working with Hutch for the last 8 days, like the brands that I've looked at that are doing okay, or actually are doing well and are on their basis, like they're very reliant, let's say on TikTok, organic, like they're barely running any paid acquisition, any paid media, that are doing phenomenally well considering. And like I say, like there's nothing there in the way of flows. There's nothing there in the way of upsells. There's a site that is, it's kind of been the same for 3 years, and it's an original theme that was free. Like there is a lot of low hanging fruit, and it's funny. It's something I definitely take for granted. And I think with you, like there's so much scope to just keep helping merchants that have a like really genuinely good product market fit and great products and great customer service and really, really care, but are not technically minded.
Yeah, they know it's so many pieces of the puzzle.
There's so many pieces of the puzzle. It's hard.
So many pieces. And as a Facebook media buyer only the last few years, and I just feel like, especially with iOS 14, and I think hopefully at some point we can stop bringing it up. But until then,
do you think it'll ever go away?
I remember the good old days, Sonny, before the iOS.
I'm still talking about like 2014. Like 16x ROAS was great.
Yeah, so we'll see how many more episodes we bring it up on. But there's so many pieces of the puzzle, and I would like, hey client, like I think we should like, what do you think about doing this, like instead of the product page, or even these small changes on your product page? Nope, I'm not. Like, you're the Facebook guy, just Facebook away. So how your email? You're not doing any email flow. Oh, okay. Well, like, what's the post-purchase like? How are you introducing a new product? Oh, a new product came out? Why didn't you tell me? Like, it just felt so siloed off. And at StumpTown, I got all the pieces to the puzzle, and I know what the picture looks like, and I'm the one that can pretty much manipulate them, and I can make the puzzle look how I want it to. Maybe not as fast as I want it to, because there's budget and constraints and whatnot. But it's so exciting. There's so much to do, and I didn't even technically start yet, but I already started these conversations because I know I'm just like eager and excited. Yeah,
dude. I mean, I don't know to what like level you would be able to, but even if you were just doing it for yourself, like just catalog everything possible. Like, take every screenshot under the sun of like everything that is day zero, and come back to it in like 6 months' time. Because I know with me personally, like having gone through that transition in that period, like you so quickly forget like all the little pieces. And you talk about the jigsaw and like putting it together, you forget that it was just in absolute pieces 6 months ago. And I guarantee you'll get there and be like, God damn it.
I wish I could see what it was, and remember. It's just good to reflect and like realize that. While I'm excited and eager about this, and I know what levers to pull, it's like, it's going to take time. And that's something I'm just incredibly bad at, being patient. That's how I've made a lot of growth and success in my career, is being impatient. But when something like this, where it's already working, the engine is moving, I don't want to just rip everything apart and stop it. It's letting it keep rolling while making the right plan, talking to the right people, and getting it to Shopify, and then like seeing how we can elevate it and make it go faster and make it be more profitable, all those sort of things. So I will and like I'm bad at reflecting and like appreciating where I was. So like that'll be really good to like, I'll do it week by week, maybe. That's like a calendar reminder, like 5 minutes on the calendar, just like screenshot everything, or like take a note of where you're at, and then just like watch it go. So that'll be good, because it's all about all about the journey. It's so cliche, but it
as
really,
cliche as
but it really is
so true.
Yeah,
so true.
So, like I'll be like I'll get to like 3, like like 2x or 3x the brand in like a year or two, whatever, right? And I'll just be like, why couldn't I do more? But then like I'll forget, like, wait, look at where I came from. Like I did this, you know. So yeah. A quick reminder from our sponsor, ShareID. Find your next lifetime customers by providing verified discount codes based on occupation or life stage. Speak directly to veterans, students, teachers, first responders, and continue to tailor your messaging to them in the future with post-purchase emails and text messages. Make them feel seen with your brand by using ShareID to seamlessly verify their email in seconds during the purchase process. Go to shareid.com/Shopify and start your free trial today. A quick note from our sponsor. Just a little reminder that No Wave is the coffee for creativity, which us D2C folks need plenty of. Their signature flow state coffee is organic ground coffee with L-theanine. This is shown to help lower anxiety, improve brain function, and sharpen your focus. Tom and I have both tried it and have made it our coffee of choice when cranking on ad accounts and planning for big events like Black Friday. It's the perfect way to kickstart your workday, whether you're at the office or working from home. Go to nowave.co and use pod 10 for 10% off your order. That is NOOWave.co and use code pod 10 for 10% off your entire order.
I don't know to what degree. I don't know if you can talk about it. Is the dreaded R word of recession coming up with conversations with them at all? Is it something that they are concerned about, thinking about?
A little bit. They've looked at, so there's two things, sort of, but a mattress is like a relative need to sleep on. So we got that going for us. And since our pricing is lower than most of the D2C darling brands out there, we might like actually pick up if it goes more that way, because we're the cheaper option. If they're going to see, Purple and 8 Sleep and Nectar and these $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 mattresses.
Yep.
Or, hey, this $500, $600 option, and it's all made here in the US, like, and it's like this small brand. Really cool. Yeah. And like, it's from like, they've been in, okay. Like there are some ways for us to like stand out or fit ourselves into either way. If we get out of the recession, if we get into it. So to answer your question, yes, they're thinking about it, but I don't think we're worried about it. It's something we're monitoring. Like generally the mattress industry is down this year. Is supposedly compared to last year, but like I think it's something to just be aware of, not something to like freak out about.
I mean, obviously it's a conversation we've had a lot at Hutch of just like, obviously looking at merchants and what's potentially the risk, like who is over-indexed, who are we over-indexing on, for instance, if like 2 or 3 brands significantly dropped in volume, like how does that impact Hutch, and just making sure there's a plan there, or are we in that situation at all? And I'll be honest, like it was one of the conversations I was having with a lot of the folks that were attending Unite the last couple of days, particularly at these after parties, was like, is Shopify talking about it at all? Is the app network talking about it at all? Are like developers and agencies talking about it at all? And it's really mixed. The message predominantly seems to be, certainly within like developer world, from folks at Unite, that as much as like they are not growing, they are not shrinking. Like there is still plenty of work. There are still plenty of new apps coming out. There are still plenty of new merchants trying to solve harder problems, trying to figure out how to make all this work together. Nobody seemingly, and I may live to regret this, seems to be worried about what's coming. If we're in a recession right now and things are bad right now, and all right, there's no explosive growth, there's no exponential growth, but folks are still growing, that's kind of phenomenal.
Yes, it is phenomenal, and it's still good signs. I don't think it's doom and gloom across the board for everyone or everything yet. So it's really good to hear about like from the different types of people you're talking to about people like, maybe we're not growing, but we're not shrinking. So like there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you didn't over plan and over project or hire too fast or buy a new car or spend too much money on a new house or whatever it is. And if you're not doing all that stuff, then okay, like we're staying the same, like, or we're growing a little bit, or we're growing a little bit slower. Okay, like that's not so bad.
Yeah, you can deal with it.
Yeah, so I think that's really interesting. I think that's a good thing to keep checking in on and keep thinking about. Yeah, dude, I have to go back to it. I almost like lost it. We order new inventory and we get it within a week.
I'm sorry, 7 days.
Yeah,
for a mattress.
Peter, if you're listening, correct me, but or like don't hold me to that, people. But like, since all this like supplies and materials are local and made here, it's not that far away from like the retail store or our warehouse. So they're like, oh yeah, we'll go and do inventory on Saturday or Sunday, and then by the next weekend it'll be ready to go. So if we do get this machine moving, like we can get it moving. Cause
yeah, you can. Because if you haven't got that much cash tied up in inventory and your lead time is 7 days, and let's say everything's getting put on like net 60, net 90 terms, holy smokes.
Yeah, see, that's what I need to figure out is, okay, cool. Do we need to like, is it 100% cash up front? Is it 50-50? Is it whatever? Like, can we negotiate like stuff like that? Can we use a freaking Parker or whatever card that like pushes 30, 60 days out?
I was going to say, like, the guys at Obvi, there is a whole thread on this that is unbelievable of just like, ask your vendors for like, charge us an extra 3%, give us an extra 90 days. Okay, then we're going to put it on Parker. Then we're going to put it on something else. Then we're going to take a like merchant cash advance. Like by the time we're done, we got like 360 days of runway.
Yeah, no, that's
I'm going to try and find it. Damn smart.
Yeah, that thread was nuts. And he went on a couple different podcasts now and talked about it.
Yeah, he did.
I think definitely on e-commerce playbook with Andrew Ferris, and then I think with the guy from Pencil, maybe Chase. I forget, but I've seen him pop up a few times talking about that epic thread. So there's stuff like that, that like, okay, if you want to grow and go faster, we can, and like. If we are able to acquire more efficiently, if we're able to have any level of retention, I already am thinking long term of like, cool, every year. Okay, so the stat before I go into that, the stat is you should buy a mattress every 7 to 10 years.
Yep.
Okay, so with that in mind, that's long term. Like that's not like a lot of these D2C brands.
Not 60 days,
30, 45 days. Like. Get your automated flow set up. Oh, are you out of your product? Like it's a $500 mattress. Like you don't just buy another one in 60 days. My thinking is 6 months or 12 months. I like whether it's literally me because I'll probably have time. And like either I email them, we do a post-pilot postcard. There's a text or literally I think some of the demographics older. We literally call them. Yeah. How's it going? How are you enjoying your mattress? How do you like it? We really appreciate it. It's been a year anniversary since you got your mattress, and make it a thing and be like, cool. Oh, we got your customer review already. Would you mind? Like, would you like to like post a picture for us and tag us? Like, oh, if you want to refer a friend, like here, we'll give you $50 off, or we'll give you send out free pillow. Like stuff like that. I'm thinking ahead of already. Cause if I know how good the product is and the quality, and it is good, I have to think long term. And cool, people like they have a spouse, they have kids, they have friends, they have grandparents, there's cousins. Like people know people, and that's like, as you know, with your brands, is like one person telling 3 people, like we mentioned a few episodes ago. That's what you want, and that little touch point does not take much time, effort, or money at all for me, but can result in another. Either lifetime customer, they'll come back in a few years. Oh, we're gonna move, or
doing out like their bedroom, like doing out the kids' bedroom, the grandkids, like whatever it is.
Yeah, and so that's like what I'm thinking ahead of too already. Of like, how do I like not just acquire customers like on Facebook and Google the first time purchase? Like it's so hard and weird because it is 7-10 years, but how do I get them to stay, come back? How do I make these natural touch points to like check in with them, and then not squeeze more out of them, but kind of squeeze more out of them in turn, not in terms of money, but like I said, make sure they got a review. If they liked it, they post something about it, or refer a friend. So I'm like, hey, I'll give you $50 or $100. Like, and you give your friend $100 off. Like, the less money I have to feed to Facebook and Google, that's great.
I mean, silly thing. Do they have like a 100-night sleep guarantee, like a lot of these other big DTC darlings?
Exactly.
Could you do something very, very similar, like, day 90, like literally pick up the phone or email them, like, hey, get on with your mattress. I want to let you know you got 10 days remaining. Like, are you happy with it? If not, like, let's figure it out.
Yeah. I think that's really good. I like included. I want to make sure that's included in either the abandoned cart sequences or the post-purchase flows, but I think that's great to like take what I was just thinking, but do it much sooner. Yeah. And to like secure there, because we do have, I think it's 100 exactly.
Okay.
And then a 10-year guarantee or lifetime guarantee.
Wow.
So it's something like that. So it's like, that's why I'm trying to think long-term. So I think it's excellent to do that at the 90-day mark. It's 3 months, like good amount of time. Yeah. And it's like, you sleep on it once, like, I don't know, you don't want to do it the next day after it got shipped. And like, I didn't even sleep on it yet. I was out of town, like, or something. You're like, it's kind of weird. So that 3 month, that 90-day mark, that's really smart, man. I think that's really good. And again, it could be me. Like, I don't care. Like, I want to talk to these people. Like, I'm StumpTown. I'm Team StumpTown. This is not just a client of mine. Like, this is my job now. Yeah. And again, mattress salesman. Like, I'm not just slinging Facebook ads and Google and emails and website. Like, I want to get to know those people and talk to them and all that.
So it's kind of cool because obviously, like, I'm assuming, I think you said it's Peter that runs the business. He is also thinking along like this sort of 7 to 10 year window. He's not thinking in like next quarter we have to get this person back to buy another mattress. That's
absolutely
not. Shaking your head like it's not where he is.
Yep. So he's on that same long term time frame. It's how do we keep expanding away from this local? We're very well known in Portland. We keep having good mattress in store retail sales. That's going to keep going. They have good stuff.
Yeah.
How do we keep that same feeling? High quality product, good customer service, caring, etc. Competitive pricing. Expand it on D2C. Expand it to other states. Yeah. And it's things like this that we're literally going to be like a team of 5. Like, and I could do that and go. It's not like I'm getting 100 mattress purchases a day, bro. Like the other day, we're like, I have to mention this. I forgot. I can't believe I almost forgot this. My announcement tweet, my little tweet thread. I put them in the 5th tweet of like StumpTown Mattress, the website, right?
Yep.
I doubled their traffic from my tweet thread for the day.
I love that.
I crashed the conversion rate because no one bought a mattress from my thread. But like, that's how small we're at. But we're still at a very decent overall like revenue because of the high AOV. So literally right now, a couple mattresses a day is great. So if I can get that in the next year, if I get that to like consistently 10 or 12 mattresses a day, like that's absurd. And I have 12 months. Like we got time to do that. Yeah. So it's so good. It's so cool. I'm so excited.
Am I right in thinking like they have their own stores or they sell through resellers?
I got it mixed up if I mentioned a few episodes ago or in our conversations. So they used to have their own store. Okay. But recently it has been StumpTown through the store of Mattress Lot. They are one of the brands there. And very so cool. X percentage of Mattress Lot sales are all StumpTown.
Yeah.
So like that's going to keep happening. They haven't even run like any ads to help drive in-store stuff,
That's kind of the other thing that's running through my head is like, as much as like you've got this DTC play, like, fast forward 12 months, let's say we've got, Shopify's established, the ads are at a good place, sites converting well. Like, is there opportunity to then go to like, okay, let's go and find more retailers? Because that just exponentially opens up the market. And equally, we can point people that are on the website of like, yeah, I'm not sure. Literally go down the street and try one.
I think that is a play, and I think that is really smart. But I think, like you're saying, it is like 12 months from now.
Yeah.
It is a big lever, but I don't think we're ready to pull it yet. But I'm glad you identified it as well, because it's that is really good. It's like there's all these levers to pull, but we only have so much time and resources, and if we pull them all, like, everything might break. It might break. Like, so I think this is all good, and we're all on the right track, and we're thinking the right way. Dude, a postcard, if I do Post-Pilot postcards for $500 mattress, $600, $700, $800, like, that's so worth it. Yeah, exactly, right? So, and I'm thinking, who's most likely going to buy a mattress? It's generally older people.
Yeah. Yep.
And so they're most likely, like,
probably still reading
more likely to, yeah. Especially if it's like, oh, yeah, my StumpTown mattress, I sleep on every night. It's not like one of a dozen things that you have tried over the years. It's like,
familiar and it's emotional.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I think there's so much here. I have a lot of like levers to pull. Don't want to pull them all. I briefly mentioned that TikTok play of like man on street style interviews.
Yeah, and like that's what I wanted to come back
to. Okay. So on TikTok, at least here in the States, at least on my TikTok, my feed, and everyone's feed's different, but there's so many channels and so many like common interview styles of like, and Balls does this, the wall trimmer shaver.
Yep.
Yeah, Balls.co does this really well. I think they're in the UK, but so it's not just us. It's just simple, like iPhone or like lavalier mic, like asking people on the street like a question or like it's a themed thing, right?
I'm gonna have to go find this channel because I don't even want to know the questions that Balls.co is asking people on the street.
There's do you like your balls shaved or not?
That is what's running through my head.
Yeah. So instead of that, for me, it'd be like, I get a college kid, I get someone that's right after college, pay him like $25-$30 an hour. I don't know. And every week, a couple hours a week, I go in Portland and keep like, hey, so do you like sleeping? Like, how many hours of sleep did you get last night? Like, if you could choose sleep over something, what would you pick? Like, just basic, somewhat related topics and themes.
Yeah.
And have him or her wearing a StumpTown shirt. Mm-hmm. And do this in Portland, right? So it's like continuing to build up the local brand awareness and keep like, that, but also expanding the top of the funnel, the awareness, the content, and just thinking of other ways instead of just pouring more money into Facebook and Google.
Actually going back to like guerrilla marketing tactics and something organic. Even if it's taking like that organic material and then pumping it through the system. Like,
yeah. So thinking that
differently.
So, and like, I wouldn't do that because like where I'm at is very far from Portland. Yeah. So like, I'll go visit.
I want to see just like build a bed in the middle of the street with a mattress on it and this dude just running around it asking people what they think of sleep.
That's a pretty good idea. Not bad. But so why I'm thinking of other ways like that is like, we can't just pass out and seed mattresses that easily. I know other brands do it. I know they do. And they have these like partners and influencers and like, oh yeah, they just sent Nest or whatever, just sent me this thing. And it's like,
I think you would have to be very, very selective if you were going to do that.
Right. So I think that's a very small lever. And so instead of that, I'd rather, think of content or really think of a really good like newsletter or podcast or YouTube series where it's like, we own it. It compounds over time. It's organic. It's somewhat related. It's something I obviously like to do. And it's like something I can do. And so I'm thinking like that. But then again, compared to just getting the right Google person in, actually doing email, actually having a real website, those are the big levers. And they're much more, pullable. And there's a bigger outcome. Yeah. I could write a daily newsletter and it'll still take time to compound. I'm just thinking about the short, medium, and long term with all this. And my buying cycle is much different than a lot of these D2C products. So all that considered. So
no, man, I'm excited to we do with it. Genuinely, like really,
Yeah.
really excited to come back to this in 12 months and see where it's at. It should be a shed load of fun.
That's going to be awesome. So I think that's one of our longer episodes. We got off on a rant about mattresses. So go to StumpTownMattresses.com and 3PLs. If we ever go to the UK, I know who to contact. Use Matt10 at checkout at your StumpTown mattress. Mostly joking, but there's talks of getting me an influencer discount code, just because like if I'm going to be talking about it and like I'm chronically online, like why not? Like
kind of one of the faces of the brand. Like
exactly,
makes sense.
There's no one else. Yeah, why not? So that'll be cool. So all right, I think that's it. Like, rate, review, message, comment, subscribe. These will actually be out. This would be like the first one that gets published the week after all the initial ones are out.
Yeah,
so you actually hear all these. So thanks so much, and take care.